Hey guys, how's it going? Well, it's a nice rainy day today in Vancouver, British Columbia, and sporting my new jacket. Got it on sale, $80 Canadian. Not bad, comparatively speaking. These would be like 200, but it's like extra extra large, which is fine by me because I like big fading jackets. Just more cozy. So in the comments section on my video about being the navigator of your own journey, um, YouTube commenter SP, initials SP, said that for him the hard part is figuring out what the destination is. And for me, the destination is not the hard part. For me, getting there is the challenge. So, what's my destination? So you might say, you might even identify that as what is the meaning of life? And for me, it's kind of two different concepts, but they're very much related. Um, the first one is not causing suffering or stopping suffering in my life and in others. Hence why I'm vegan, because I don't want to cause suffering in anybody else's life, any animal's life. And also trying to minimize the amount of suffering in my life. So that's kind of like one half of the equation for me. The other half is related to that, and in its really achieving peace, calm, and tranquility. And if I have those two things, I think I'm doing pretty good. So you may say, well, how do you get peace? Well, there are there's lots of ways, but in the interest of not having this video go on for like way too long, I'll just define it in two different ways. One way is to just let go. And if something upsets you, someone makes you angry, something is causing you to be stressed out, let it go. And when you let it go, eventually it's going to not cause you stress. So a couple of years ago, I was watching this talk with this Buddhist monk, and he used this analogy. He said, assume that your problems or whatever's causing you stress is a cup of tea and you're holding it. He says, all you have to do is put it down and let it go. And it's that easy. Now, I do think it's that easy in one regard. In another regard, I have these, I have a Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, and I have all these like Buddhist things that are coming up, and they're like memes that tell you all these great and wonderful things. And one of them is that comes up quite often. I really like it actually. It's got this picture of this guy who's hanging onto this rope attached to this hot air balloon. And the hot air balloon's going that way, and he's hanging onto this rope. And it says, let go or be dragged. And that's very true. But I also find that I remember one time I was flipping through it's my Facebook page and looking at all this stuff. And I was kind of going through, it was the early parts of my divorce. And I was going through this emotions of being separated from my kids. And it was really difficult. And when you read these things, you're saying, well, it's easier said than done because we're human beings with emotions. So sometimes, these little sayings and phrases can just be like paying lip service to real suffering, and it's a nice idea, but the reality is it's not that easy. But having said that, I think the true masters of the self, of their mind, are able to put those things down and let it go. But that takes like years and years of training. So that's one aspect of how to get peace, is to just let things go. When I was a Christian, they used to talk about revival. That was a big thing. And I was never like, hands in the air, crazy, crazy Christian. It's never been my style. I came from more cerebral Christianity, church. And anyway, but one of my girlfriends, she came from the more hands in the air kind of Christianity, and her dad had these tracts, these little religious tracts, and I was reading through them, and it was interesting because they're all the time they mentioned this word revival, and it was an interesting kind of notion, because really says is because what it really says is, left to its own, the water is just going to go back into the ocean. The water will come onto the streets, it's going to flood the streets, but over time it's going to recede back into the ocean. Well, we need that water, dang it. We need the fire and the fury. We need revival. And how do you do that? You go to church, you go to Bible studies, you pray, you talk to fellow Christians, you get the Holy Spirit. So even though I put that part of my life away a long time ago, when I was 24, I still think there's some elements of that are true, and you need to fan the flames of what you want to burn. So for me, if I want peace, I need to do things that are going to bring me peace, and one of them is meditation. I don't meditate nearly enough, like really not nearly enough, but I always welcome it when I do, and I really need to have more self-discipline and do it more often. So meditation is one of the things I do to give me peace, and the meditations, I usually do 2 meditations. One of them is extremely simple. Well, they're both very simple. Simple, but hard to master. Is simply counting to 4. Paying attention to your breath and counting to the number 4. Finishing and returning back to your breath and counting to the number 4. All the while trying to block out all other thoughts in your head. That's the hard part. You can do it for maybe 20 seconds and block out, oh, what am I going to have for breakfast tomorrow? Oh, my left foot is itchy. Oh, it's a bit cold in here. Oh, what's that noise I hear? They call it monkey brain. So the key is to try to stop the monkey brain and focus on what you're doing. Even a simple thing such as counting to 4, or concentrating on your breath. You breathe in, pay attention. You breathe out, you pay attention. The other way I meditate is by doing what they call a mantra. And I don't like, there's all these weird forms of people doing it, like transcendental meditation, where they give you some nonsense word and you're supposed to say that over and over and over again. I don't really buy into all that. It may be effective, and they say that the sound will help calm you and stuff. But what I find is just repeating words that bring me peace, such as the word tranquility, the word calm, and the word peace. So I will just repeat those words to myself. This guy's talking to himself, so that's interesting. And so I will repeat those things. And another one is to, actually a third form of meditation which is kind of like the Buddhists call it loving kindness meditation. Our mantra is just to think positive thoughts for other people. Like if you think of someone who's going through a rough time, try to think of them happy. Try to just give thoughtful energy if you want. I know that's kind of a little bit too hokey for me, to be honest. But I think, I don't know if it makes an effect for them, but it has an effect on me, because I am trying to use the energy that I have in my life to bring less suffering to others. And whether all this energy and, all these kind of new age words are authentic, I don't know. I tend to doubt it, to be honest. But I do think that they have an effect on me, because it's almost like you're brainwashing yourself to be positive and encouraging and supportive to others. And that is always going to be a good thing. Those meditation is one way to bring peace into my life, and to help me achieve what I define as my meaning of life. Another thing is music. Music can be so amazing. I absolutely love music. And if you want to reach a certain emotion or a certain wavelength, if you will, find the right music, tune into it, and it will bring you there, if you allow it to. And I find lately I've been listening to this internet streaming website, Spotify, on my phone, and I'll go into some busy, Starbucks or whatever, and I'll just turn on Spotify, and there's a station called Calm Vibes, and I listen to that, and it's just amazing music, and it really puts you in a different headspace. And then when the commercial's on, I have this app that's called Mute Me, MUTE space ME. And every time a commercial goes on, I just press mute. I give it 20 or 30 seconds, unmute. But that happens every 20 minutes or so, I think. And I find that very useful. Music is very useful to reach that state of peace, to feed to get the revival going on. So I kind of feel like I've meandered through this topic a little bit. But to just recap, what is the meaning of life to one awesome inch? To minimize suffering in my life and in others, and to live a peaceful, calm life. That's it. Doesn't cost a thing, and it's, if you spend the energy, the life energy, to do it, it is achievable. Anyways, guys, I could talk way more about this, but in the interest of time, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night.